In this video, I'm exploring how to use the Jira pack in Coda to sync the data from your Jira projects into a Coda doc, where you can visualize them in a customized manner, building custom dashboards and views of that data that can inform your decisions and connect with your other company operating systems. In Jira, I have this board with some tasks. Say I want to sync them to Coda. Here is a Coda doc. It is empty right now. I just created a page. I'm going to do /Jira. And then I would use the Jira dashboard, which is a template that automatically populates the page. There are some broken links. It can be customized, of course, because it's a Coda page. In fact, the links work now. And right now it's empty, so I can go down to all issues. And I can connect my account here. I'll be prompted to sign in with Atlassian to access the Jira data, which I can then also filter. So I'm going to choose my site here to connect. I just have one, so it's an easy choice for me. And then here are some precautions. I will open the settings. You can see here I can refresh it based on different time frames. Also hourly. This is only available on team plan and above, if I'm correct though. So be aware of that. And then here I can select an account that I just connected. Here are the 3 dots where I can sign in again, manage the accounts and delete it if I wish. This is a private connection. Keep that in mind. And here I can see the account, and I can also disconnect it easily from here. You can see here some building blocks of the Jira pack, because that's what it does. Once I create my connection, that means I've granted access to my Jira account to the Jira Coda pack, which contains multiple tables and formulas and columns that I can use, and buttons as well, as you can see here, that I can use across the doc and the docs where this pack is installed. So in this case, let's go back to the settings. Here are all the packs. Here are all issues. That's the source synced table. I will open the options just to check it out a bit. On the one line, I will see the options. Here, I can see the sync settings. And when I refresh it manually, I can allow two-way edits, meaning I can make edits directly in Coda, and those would be reflected in Jira. So this is possible. Oftentimes in the ways I've worked with clients, we did not turn this on because we consider Jira more as the source of truth to make changes, and then using Coda to create custom dashboards that look a bit prettier, if you wish, or that connect to other systems that you have in your Coda doc. But if you allow two-way edits, then we can send them immediately or not. If we send them immediately, that means as soon as an edit is made, it is synced back to Jira. If we do not send them immediately, then those edits are stored in Coda and highlighted in the table. And then we can click a button to send them back to Jira. Here I can select my project. This is to filter all the issues that I want to see. So I can either select the project, or this is optional. So I can also clear option. I can also filter by assignee here, which I will not do. I can also include the label to filter and additional criteria, also a custom query or specific fields. In this example, I'm gonna load everything. I can also select which properties to sync from Jira. So when I click on this option here, I will see a pop-up menu that allows me to toggle which exact fields I want. Some of them, the essentials, are synced by default. Other ones, I can select. Importantly, for this dashboard, there is a template to use. We need the changelog and the created fields from Jira, because those are used in formulas to make this work, in particular the Burndown chart and the team members workload. So keep them here. I will update and sync, and it is now getting updates from Jira. In the meantime, you can also see there are some advanced properties or sync options. One of them is the table limit. So how many rows you want to display of sync from Jira in here. And the maximum amount right now is 10,000 rows. Let's close this. Here are all the issues that were properly populated in here. The data types as well are already handled by the Coda pack. elegantly. So you can see the issue here. That is a chip that I can expand to see more details. The changelog is a text that has chips, and I can see all the other fields pulled directly from Jira. Also, the due date is a date type, and so are the other dates. Because this is a Coda table, when I go to options, I can also decide to pin the expand row button, for example, expand it. I can show or hide the grid lines. I can freeze column, select the row height, and other customization options. I can also apply filters. In here, there is a predefined filter applied within the template, but you can delete it if you wish. And you can also add this filter bar here that allows each user to set their own filters when looking at this table. Although that's the source table, so very likely it won't be used very much, because the idea of this dashboard is to just get this data and display it nicely with charts and views filtered appropriately for your needs. So I'm going to keep them as it is. We can sort, we can conditionally format, for example, coloring specific columns or rows, and we can also hide or show columns via the eye icon here. By default, this table is also grouped by epic, though in my case, I'm not using epic in my Jira example account that I'm using here. So that's why there is an error here. So I can go here and I'm going to ungroup by epic. Just going to keep this status. And then each status is expandable as a toggle. And then I can see all the issues within it. Because each issue is an expandable row, I can also customize the layout as per usual in Coda by editing the layout, giving it a name, and then arranging things either via a quick style, just to start with, that sets multiple columns, for example. Or I can start with the default one and then just move things around and arrange the different columns in the order that I like, making things smaller, larger. And once I'm done, I can select done. In my case, I will take layout for now. We have those issues synced. These are tasks. You can see it from the issue type. If I click on any value in these columns, you can see that Coda tells me that I can't edit them directly because some of them are formula calculated. As you can see here from this icon, it's a formula. But other ones are not formulas. And if I want to edit them, I need to turn on two-way sync. That's the option that I showed you earlier in the settings. If I click on that button, then I can make edits, for example, like so. And you can see, as I was explaining earlier, right now this is highlighted in blue because it was edited, and it tells me that it's pending an edit. And then I can send the edits to Jira, or I can reset them, or refresh from Jira, which means it pulls the latest data from Jira. And still, if there are edits that were made here, they are kept. Or, if I wish, I can send edits immediately, which removes the need for this button and just sends the edit to Jira upon a change. Once the Jira connection is done, there are a few other things. One thing is the Burndown configuration. This one as well is quite automatic. It pulls the dates from all the issues and tasks, in my case, that I pulled from Jira. It gets the start date. This is a formula that uses filtered issues, the start date, and the end date, which are formulas. Apparently, in the default template, when you start, these are wrong. So check that out and troubleshoot it. Once that is fixed, then we can refresh the Burndown here, and it adds all the days between the start date and the end date. The start and the end dates are calculated automatically based on the changelog of when an issue was edited in Jira. And then here, there are some formulas that show all the open issues within those dates, all the active issues within those dates, and then it counts them. And this will then be used in the Burndown chart that we can find at the very top in here. There is a Burndown chart that shows all the days, and then you can see the assigned issues, backlog, and open issues. There are some KPIs at the top, some quick filters that allow you to manipulate the dashboard. We can filter by project, by priority, and other fields in here that are dynamically pulled from Jira. And then the issue type, looks like it is broken. And that's because the issue type column is not there. So if I go down here, I want to check options. Looks like the issue type is already synced. So here I'm going to check the formula. And I'm going to type issue type. And this fixes the formula. So there was an error in the reference for some reason. And then the epic, in my case, I don't need it, so I can just delete it. This is text on the Coda page. Some other KPIs, I can always right-click to unhide the formulas and edit them as needed and understand them better. And there is the team performance as well that needs to be set up, whereas the other charts are automatically set up based on the data that's pulled in all issues down here. For the team performance, we will need to set some team members, assuming the names correspond between Coda and Jira. These need to be users in Coda. Not necessarily in the way this template is set up. They allow you to select a user in your Coda doc. Alternatively, you could change the formulas and the logic to just include the names of team members if you don't want to invite them to this dashboard. That is possible, but it requires a few tweaks. So I'm going to clear sample data, and then let's add a new row. The user is me, and I can see here the issues closed are automatically calculated. These are the issues that were marked as done by this user within the last 30 days. And the total open issues as well are calculated automatically. Then I can see the specific issues for this user in here. Test 5 is a task, and it looks like the status. I don't know what the status is. This one is done. So the status is done. Issue 5 is done. That's why it counts as here. It was done within the past 30 days. And test 1 is in progress. So that's why this is the open issues counted here. Whenever I click on these columns, I can unhide the formula and see it exactly. I can add additional team members. You can see that the formula uses the user because that's a user type column in Coda. And then it maps the display name of that user in the Coda doc, assuming that the name is the same in Jira as well. So it gets the issue.assignee, mapping the assignee from the issue.display name, because the assignee from the Jira sync table, rich field that contains sub fields, the display name of the person, the email address, the avatar, and these other data that's associated with the Jira user. So now the team is set up as well. So when I go up, I can see the team performance chart is populated successfully. Right now, we only have one team member, but if we have many team members, then it would be much more useful. And that's it. The dashboard is now up and running, and it doesn't take much really. So that's the advantage of using this. The other advantage is that because that's a Coda page, I can customize it as I want, using the / command to add anything else, using text and formatting it as needed, as part of a larger Coda doc, possibly, where on the left sidebar, I can create multiple pages, relational tables, and dashboards from one or multiple systems interconnected together. Thank you for watching this video. If you wish to work together, contact me via the form in the description of the video, where you can also find my products and resources. See you in the next one.